So hello guys and welcome back. So here are more of your standard deck brews with foundations. I'm glad to see that some of the preview cards are already very good for the format, especially that in standard and going to benefit it from it in a few years. At the same time, it's quite nostalgic because of these reprints that's happening. Seeing those old card memories is going just to be a flashback of those gameplay back in the day. And so, but one of the particular reprint that we're going to discuss in this video, which we have here as a deck tech, is this card, Pyromancer's Goggle. So this is first from the Magic Origins as a reprint, and it's back again here with this design of Chandra's Googles here as implemented, and we're going to explore its potential now with the standard that having several burn spells has also been brought back to play and been legal to play in standard format. So how we could do some good combinations of this third, in which we're going to make it as kind of a play around deck build of this strategy of burning of opponents. So the deck is called Boros Pyromancer Burn or Pyromancer Googles Burn per se, but I found it like a shorter version. Let's add a FDN name here so we can imply that it is for the foundation standard. So this deck build is composed of 4 of these artifacts, 2 creatures with the Twin Flame Tyrant that is like a walking furnace of wrath, 1 enchantment with mechanized warfare, 20 instants, 8 sorceries, and 25 lands. So we're going to check on our lineup with this grid. So again, Pyromancer's Goggles gives us an ability that you can add a mana. Those mana spent to a red instant or sorcery spell, it will be copied and you may choose new targets for the copy. So anyway, for this deck to benefit, it's just basically burning out opponents with this lots of instants and sorceries, as you can see here. So now we can to check on what will be our opponent, which Pyromancer's Goggles will somewhat copy. So starting off first with this reprint, a very good reprint card, Burst Lightning. So this Burst Lightning is basically just an upgraded shock. It is a 1 mana, 2 damage on your target, but if it gets the kicker, you will be able to deal 4 damage instead. So in a way, for this to benefit is just going well with both early game and late game value with the bird. So 4 copies of this are make sure added. Also, the reprint here is Boros Charm, which of course you can see here. This is just a second layer version. Its original, maybe printed out version for foundations will be look like this. This ability to deal 4 damage to target player or Planeswalker, and options with anything. You can have a creature burst, gain double strike, or permanent you control, gain irresistible. So at any instance, your main purpose here is just you can basically burn them out with this 4 mana, 4 damage to their dome, to their life total. So imagine having this copied by the Pyromancer's Goggles, you can deal 8 damage with this card. Now for the other spot removal purpose is your 4 copies of Get Lost. So the Get Lost will not only deal with creatures, also enchantments and planeswalkers, since planeswalkers will be quite a problem if you're going with the kind of burn strategy. So we have ways to deal with them with just an instant, and trading for just map tokens, which would not be really that matter to us because we're just plainly dealing with the life total of your opponent. And so in added version also are copies of Lightning Helix, which is still legal standard from Murders of Karl Manor, and Lightning Strike, which is also from Dominaria United. So these burn spells would initially make as your main combo to set up your Googles and then have them copying this instance as well. Or of course with your sorcery spells, we have a somewhat new version of Lava Spike. This is 1 mana, Bolt Wave, 3 damage to his opponent. So if this is copied by the Goggles, you can deal 6 damage to each of your opponents. And the added also, this is a sorcery, but it gets you a card draw effect. And the bonus is if you discard a land card that wasn't a land card, you will deal a bonus damage to each opponent. So this is not only a land draw or card draw per se, but also a damage source, which coincides with our deck strategy. Now for the other cards that you can use for the sorcery slot are of course mass removal, since it's also important for us to have the board reset, since we are just pointing our damage to your opponent's life total. So you need also a way for have their board undeveloped. So we have Slugstorm, which is a good reprint here. We have 2 copies of this in the deck, which can also deal 3 damage to each creature and each player. Or you can just also use this one to deal 3 damage to the life total. So in instance, very flexible and very useful for this kind of deck build. And of course, Sunfall is probably still the most efficient sorcery for mass removal, because it can exile creatures, it disregards indestructible, and gets you incubate or operation token that can also be used as an attacker later on. Now for your enchantments, which I think here's the only copy in the deck, which I personally would prefer, because in cases wherein you would be able to draw your Twin Flame Dragon, you can have Mechanized Warfare as your added source for your burn spells, that equal to that damage would be added with a +1 instead. So that is your enchantment. Again, your Twin Flame Tyrant is your best way to have a good late game attacker with the dragon, and can also have your damage dealt double for damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls. So in total, that is your 35 non-land spells to have in the deck. Now for your lineup of your lands, we have variants here of non-basics, which has a specific purpose to do in this deck. So of course we need the mana fix for red-white. So we have Battlefield Forge, Spanning Vantage, and Temple Triumph, with of course basics of Mountain and Plains. We also consider the Sunken Citadel. As you can see here, enters the battlefield tap, it enters choose a color, so you can choose red or white. You can add mana of change in color, and then use these 2 mana of change in color to activate land abilities. So you can be its best partner here will be Fountain Port. It can be activated to create a token, sacrifice a token to draw a card, or to create a treasure token. At the same time, it can also be used to activate Mirex to create these 1/1 Phyrexian Might artifact creature tokens with the Toxic 1. And also, the new card, Soulstone Sanctuary, I considered 1 in the deck, because we need to do some mana fix, but at the same time, we have another source for a late game attacker with this land becoming a 3/3 creature with vigilance in all creature types. So that I think pretty much it. As well, of course, Temple of Triumph would be that of the Scry effect, because of this reprint, which is now very useful to this kind of deck build. For this setup of the lands, I'm pretty sure that 25 lands would be sufficient enough for us to like go into turn 5 Gogos and then go off with the succeeding turns of just burning off opponents' life totals, and make sure that and maybe in sideboarded matchups you can have effects or cards that prevent them from life gain. So make sure that your burn spells would be much efficient and effective in this kind of deck. And for last but not least, your mana cost, more on the red with 30, white is 16, production is pretty much even. Village mana is 2.6. That's for the burn spells, but of course our late game would be really sufficient because we need to cast Sunfall also, and of course Pyromancer's Goggles as our added source, and of course the Tyrant Dragon to be our good threat to finish off the game as quick as possible. And for our tokens, we have 5 tokens here. Fish token from the Fountain Port, Incubator token, which can be transformed into a Phyrexian. As you can see here, its power toughness equal to the counters. So after the sweep of the Sunfall, you can have a good threat on the board. Map tokens created by the Get Lost, Phyrexian token, token by the Murex, and then treasure token as created also by the Fountain Port. So I guess that's pretty much it for this deck tech. If you are more of the kind of funky burn and you might want to reminisce an old basically burn deck who would want you to play it in the standard format, I suggest this kind of build would be your option to see in this upcoming Foundation Standard. And if any questions or suggestions, just comment below this video. We can have a good discussion of it, and maybe try out some other options in the set. As you can see, the card total for Foundations basically around 700 plus, so we might have missed some new cards that might be more efficient to this kind of deck. Of course, we can also build the sideboard afterwards, after the set becomes legal to play in the standard format. So I guess that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching again. This is Boros Pyromancer Burn for Foundation Standard Deck Tech. Don't forget to like, subscribe, notifications on, and see you on the next video.